Hello and welcome to the early summer update for Medway, and I'm in with my cat Miffy, who seems to be wanting to get into the picture. Now it's the beginning of July and we've just come off of a scorching June. Temperatures down here in Kent hit the 30s, mid 30s, so in the garage you can imagine how hot it was. Now, I'm going to have a closer look, but I think we've got away with any damage to the track. But as you would appreciate, it would have been difficult to get in there. But what we've got in today's video is that we'll be having a look at what progress has been made in the new station area and what the up-to-date plans are. Also, there'll be a couple of new arrivals coming, so we'll have a look and see what those are. I'd like to thank John at Xhaven, as he mentioned me in his last video, and I think that's attracted a couple of new subscribers, which as always I'd like to say any new subscribers are most welcome, and I'll hope that you'll stay on board. And also to the people who have remained loyal, thank you very much. It is always much appreciated and quite humbling. So let's go and get into the garage and see what's been happening. And it's bye from Miffy. Okay, let's look at the progress that has been made on the station side. So here I've put down some I use wet and dry paper just to give an asphalt look, and I'll do a bit of tidying up with the joins and get some black paint over there. We've got the coffee station, so people can pick up a coffee before they get over the footbridge and onto the station. You can always pick up a newspaper or magazine, and next door to that is Bob's Hot Dogs. Now he has proved quite popular with the factory workers. And then if we move alongside here, we've got the ice cream van. That's going to service this area, which I found from, I think it's 3D Printing Corner, a playground set. So we could have a playground set there, the ice cream van for the children. So that's how we're going to be looking here. I'm just going to, if we can get it into focus. There we go, that's a bit better. So I've put some palisade fencing in. This area here will, I'll put some poster paint down and then some ballast and some scrub, and it's going to be a sort of a waste area as we move alongside here. This will be fully paved with this paving sheet. We've got the steps that will be painted concrete, and we'll cover that up as well. I'm not sure what this area is going to be. I've got an idea of sort of sorting it out. The tree's only there to keep it out of the way. But that could be an area where we've got the line side boxes. We now move over to the signal box that Dave at Bunters Yard made. Originally was going to have it as a cafe, but it might sort of compromise the other food area over there. So I've decided this will be a disused signal box that has been refurbished and is now open for the public to have a look around. So just to give a panorama, don't panic about the back seam, that's just going to be brought forward so we're all level. If you remember, that's a garden area. So let's have a little panoramic look. This is how the station area is going to look. Plenty of work on there to get the lights in, and once they're done we'll put the station segments together. Here's the main station. Again, this will be sorted out, so this is sort of gives an idea of where the station's going to be. And this line from about here will be cut, and then we have a nice flat area down to here. So let's take one more look at what is the station area. Okay. First up, I got a notification of a new book into the Modelling Britain's Railways series, and this was on SpeedLink. Now, that caught my fancy, as the good thing about SpeedLink were that they were just sort of what was the old wagon load services. So you can mix and match and virtually put anything in the rake, on the basis that you don't then have to have a train load, which is sort of 5-10 wagons, and it can prove expensive, and then you can just pick out the ones you want. So that's the book, available from Key Model World. As I say, it's excellent, plenty of reference photographs as well. So that was one purchase. Now the second one, and we'll take a closer look at it, was the Accurascale Class 50. Now I didn't bother when they were announced to put an order in, because I have a Hornby Class 50 in Network South East livery, and the liveries were there. To be honest with you, I didn't think, I need one of those, so I didn't bother. It was only until they were released recently, and two of the folks from Chatham Modern Railway Club, of which I'm a member, brought theirs down. Justin brought his dad's 50 in Network South East livery, and Stuart had the one in green. I think it's Edward Elgar. Now, looking at them, they looked absolutely outstanding, and also they sounded great. So I then thought, perhaps I wish I had got one, and thought nothing of it until I got an email from Accurascale a couple of days later to say that they had still stock available. So I looked through and I saw the Hanson and Hall version, And I did think, oh, that's just a freight operator. You couldn't really justify that, and then I had a look a bit closer and found that they were also operating a rail tours using 50008 Thunderer, which is the Accurascale option. And secondly to that, they run one through Kent with, I think it's a 40C unit that it pulls. So that made me think a little closer. So I had a look. They had a sound fitted one in stock. And yes, I bought it. And I must say, I am absolutely delighted with it. Now, I won't be doing a review on it because there's plenty out there who do it much better than I do. But we have got some running shots of it. Now, a few people have mentioned that they opened the box and bits had come off. I wasn't to be left out in that, and what seems very common is that I think one of the front boxes, orange boxes, I think they're jumper cable boxes, was just loose. But saying that, it's quite simple to put back in, and I shall look forward to giving it a proper run. But it's had a little test. The only downside is I always like to put crew in, especially as you get cab lighting and the control panel lighting, and it does look slightly odd if it's running around without crew. To get the body off, you do have to apparently undo the very small chains and also a couple of jumper cable boxes that fit into underneath the chassis. So I'm slightly wary of that, but we'll see what happens. But on the first run, it's been absolutely superb, and you'll have a look at those and see what you think. So that's a class 50. Secondly, we have the ICI hoppers, again from Accurascale, something a little different. Now, again, as I mentioned, SpeedLink and a box of 2 would be able to fit into a SpeedLink service. Now, these are vacuum braked, not air braked. And somebody pointed out to me, well, you wouldn't mix air with vacuum. And I thought, well, okay, modeller's license for me, until in the SpeedLink book, it did show a service which did have vacuum and air brakes mixed together. The air brakes were at the front, and I think there were 2 vacuum braked vans, and so they put a brake van on the back. So that's what I'll do. Again, as with Accurascale, I think these were the old Hatton's offering, but they run absolutely superbly and look great. So again, we'll see a bit of running on that. And lastly is the Daypole Class 68 in the TransPennine livery. Now, I think, as I may have mentioned before, of course, TransPennine wouldn't run down south, but since they have got rid of their Class 68s, the excuse is that they've been chartered out for rail tours. So that's the new additions, and let's take a closer look. The latest new arrival just popped via the post yesterday, and they are the Accurascale limestone hopper wagons. Now, as usual, they come in the Accurascale standard packaging, which is very robust. Oh, we've just been photoshopped by the cat, and there we are, pack of 2. And I'll just show you the number. We get the Accurascale information sheet, which is always very handy, and as usual, useful photographs should you wish to do some weathering. Full of detail. Here we go. Let's just have a little look around. Let's see what we can see. I've just been hit by the cat again. Let's turn it upside down. And as you can see, nice 3 bogies there. And we'll have a look inside. And again, lots of detail inside as well. So these is a pack that the wagons ran up to 1997 when they were taken out of service, because they are vacuum braked, not air braked, and locos like the 66 did not have vacuum braking. They used to be run with 37s, but it won't stop me putting them in a SpeedLink service. I know it'll be mixed with vacuum and air brake, but hey, I don't really mind. So there we are. That's the Accurascale limestone hoppers. Okay, here is the new Daypole Class 68 in the Transpennine livery. I managed to pick this up from Wales of Sheffield for, I think it was about £90. So there's a lock sound decoder with the ESU hi-fi sound via Richard at Rosenau. So let's see it go. Thanks as always for tuning in and your continued support. It's really appreciated. So we've finished the update, and the next one I'm hoping, as I've got a couple of weeks holiday, that I can get quite a bit of modelling done. So probably at the back end of the month we'll have another update video. Coming up as well is the Chatham show. My Model Railway Club will once again be hosting what is probably one of the biggest shows in the southeast. It's on the 19th and 20th of July at the historic dockyard, and I will be putting a little video up probably in about a week's time with more information, but it would be really great to see you come down. I'll be there for both days, and yeah, please come along and say hello. So we'll finish off now, and as I always say, please be safe, look after yourselves, happy modelling. Cheers for now. Bye.